Yeah, g'day YouTube. Sorry it's been a while since I posted up a video. I've got a bit of a project on the boil, a bit of a project car. A good old Mazda BT50 2013 model. It's got a blown engine. So the story goes, the gentleman's wife was driving it. Bit heap of white smoke came out the back, lost power. She pulled up, drove it for a fair while before she pulled up. It then stopped, engine lights come on, it was all bad. They got it towed, took it back to his house, to a garage, and then they've diagnosed it with a leak down test that there's a hole in piston number 3, which is apparently for these vehicles is very common. I actually own one of these as well, which is hilarious. I've got I think it's a 14 model or 15 model. It's identical in every way. So I was pretty bored, obviously, so I went and bought it, paid $5,000 for it, which I thought was pretty good. It's got a lot of bling on it. But I guess the point of this video, for everyone that watches the channel, is to show you how I'm going to go about in my home garage, pretty much, pulling an engine out of one of these, fixing it, putting it back in, hopefully, and yeah, getting it running. I've only ever done one diesel engine before, so I'm a little bit rusty. I've done plenty of petrol ones, plenty of motorbike engines, industrial engines, but yeah, these modern diesels are a little bit more complicated. Not bad. Managed to find a manual online, so that'll help. So yeah, enough of that talking and nonsense. I'll just flick the camera around and yeah, so there you go, guys. That's the beast there. It's got a lot of good bits and pieces on it. It's in not bad condition. Probably give it a, I don't know, for its age, a 7 out of 10. It was very dirty inside. It needs a good clean and detail. I'm going to do that if and when I get this beast going. But we'll have a bit of a walk around. Pretty new tyres on it. Excuse the kid's buggy in the background there. Toyos, all-terrainers, brand new-ish. Very good tread on them. What else we got to show you is of interest? Gave it a bit of a clean out. 154,000, is that 154? 154,474 on the clock. It's got the Safety Dave camera for your caravan. Brake controller, needs a new knob. What else we got? Yeah, roof rack. Obviously got the ARB canopy. Got a bit of shit in the back that they've already stripped off. So the bash plates were off, the engine cover, the rear sill panel. I'll tell you, that battery box is going to go. It looks horrendous. Anyway, I'm going to rip that out at some point. I'm almost debating. I was debating on whether to do a bloody Barra motor conversion. A mate of mine sort of mentioned it. Go around this side for you. So yeah, ARB bull bar. Couple of old spotties on it, but I've got a new set already, so they can go. The battery's on charge. It seems to be taking a charge. I had to put a power supply on to get some power into it first. It's got an auxiliary fuel filter, which was good, but yeah, they tell me hole in piston 3, so it'll be this guy. It's a 5-cylinder motor. Anyway, yeah, so I was tossing up doing a Barra conversion. I started doing the sums on that and all the bits and pieces, and I'm kind of going off it. I think it's probably going to be not cost effective, so I'm probably going to stick to just rebuilding the diesel. But yeah, that's her. It's in not bad nick. Tow bar. It's got all the plugs for your van and whatnot. Reverse light. Yeah, it's in not bad nick. It just needs a real good clean and polish and detailing inside, which I will definitely do. Side steps. I bought a new antenna for it. The antenna was stuffed, so I got a new little screw-on antenna for it already. I bought a few parts already. I got a oil filter for later on. Blanking plate for the EGR. I intend to blank the EGR on this engine. EGR on these split. It's down the back of the motor. This is an automatic. It's right down the back of the motor where the bell housing meets the transmission. It's a bit of a mission to get to. So it's going to be this line here. This guy that bends and goes down, heads off to one side of it. That's going to be removed, and just a normal coolant line is going to be put in. Come around this side. I'll wait till I get it all out, but yeah, I'll show you that there's another line comes up from the other side and goes into, oh, it's down there somewhere, but we'll bloody show you that when we get the engine out anyway, a bit better. So yeah, I'm going to blank that. I'm also going to give the manifold a clean, replace all the injectors, full engine rebuild, including probably have to rebore the cylinder, I'm guessing. I haven't pulled it apart. Haven't even tried to start it. It was a waste of time. Yeah, I'm just going to slowly, because of me recent surgery, I'm just going to do little bits and pieces each day, so I'll mash a heap of videos together. So that's the project car for now. I did notice, like I said, they did already start pulling a lot of this gear off. Obviously the top cover and the insulator are off, all the injector plugs are undone, which is pretty basic stuff. The rear sill's out. They broke the bloody rear sill and front panels out. They did break something here, I've already noticed. A bit rough when they pulled it apart. They flattened a couple of nuts here. It happens, but yeah, it's pretty wild. But they've actually broken the wiper motor arm. I might be able to weld it up. A mate of mine's good with an aluminium TIG, but I doubt it. But anyway, that's broken. I'm going to rip that off next. And then, what else can I tell you? I think, yeah, apart from next steps, I guess, would be slowly start disassembling the motor from the top, just getting all the pipes off. Everything I know has got to be undone, all your coolant lines. I'm going to get the radiator out. I've got to get it degassed. There's a big hornet's nest down there, look at that. I'm going to get it degassed of the air conditioning because I want to pull the whole air conditioner condenser out. I don't believe, there's the aircon condenser there. There's the radiator, where's the, no, it doesn't have an external oil cooler on it. That's a bit of a bummer. I was hoping it had an external oil cooler on it for the transmission, but that's all right. If I do end up keeping this vehicle, because mine's actually in a lot better condition, but it's done about 200,000 Ks, so my thinking is, if I do this up, trade my other one in on, the wife wants a new car, trade it in, do this up, brand new engine, polish it all up, give it a massive service, big birthday, and I'll probably just keep it for the next, 5-10 years, something like that. So that's the plan. I always wanted a white one. My blue one's a bit, it shows up scratches and very hot, but it's in a lot better nick at the moment than this, but I'm hoping to get it up to the same standard at least. Sorry about that, I actually lost a little bit of footage. I've got to get myself a bloody GoPro or something, but thought I was recording and I wasn't. So all I've really done, it's pretty straightforward, is I've undone the air cleaner outlet pipe, which goes down to the, I'm pretty sure it goes down to the front of the turbo there. Yes, it does. I've undone the inlet down here in the mudguard, right here. It's just a clamp. And to be honest, you could have left that on. Mine's a bit rough looking, but anyway. This part was already all undone. 3 bolts here. A nut in the middle that holds that end. Nut over there holds that end. This bolt goes through here, and then that bracket was here somewhere. I went and sorted out all the bolts on this. There's 7 riv nuts. So there's little pop-out plastic clips that come out, and 7 riv nuts, whole panel lifts out. It's pretty straightforward. I've just got to go, I want to get a trim removal tool so I don't break these little clips getting this wiring harness out from the back of the wiper arm. They go all the way across to here. I'm going to take all of those clips out for this cable and then unclip him here, and then this whole lot can unclip this. I think this goes down to the indicator down here. Might have to get that out. I can then push this rubber boot in like so, and then that whole lot will go through there. Should allowing me to remove this plate completely, which would be really good. And then that'll all come out, and then it gives you way more room at the back of the engine. The only other thing I did off camera is I undone the bracket, just a hook leg here for the bracket for the battery over to here, and I undone this. I don't even know what this is. I think I have to read up on it. I think it might be maybe to do with it's some sort of control module or a relay setup, but I'm going to go and read up, so don't quote me on that. I have no idea what that is, but I just undone that to get it out of the way so I can get down. The intercooler pipe was already undone. I just pulled it off. So there's a clamp that goes on here and a clamp down there to the cold side of the intercooler. I guess the next steps, I drained the engine oil and coolant last night. I didn't worry about showing you that off camera. It's pretty straightforward. There is a little rubber, in the bottom of the radiator, down the very bottom on this side, there's a plastic plug, like with a wing nut head. It just, you undo it and then obviously put a bucket on it, catch all the coolant. I did spill some coolant, which was shit. I had to clean that all up. Right now, I'm just removing the spotty cable. They've done a pretty wild job around this, but it literally was just clipped in underneath this coolant hose here. So it just was clipped in underneath there. I've just been going along, just unclipping this pipe from this area. So you got a clip here, a clip here. The hose even marked where the clips go, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to undo that end, take this pipe off, a couple more clips, one there and one there. Take this guy off down the other end with a couple of little clamps, both sides. I'll pull both sides of the heater core off. Yeah, and then get the battery out is the next step. I've got to take the fuel filter housing, this bracket out, this sub filter that they put in out, and then underneath down in there is the engine control module, or ECU, engine control unit. That's got to come out. I'll then do the radiator, but we'll show you that as I go. Yeah guys, just another little tip for you too. Just thought I'd show you what I do when I'm pulling something like this apart. It saves you a lot of time when you're putting it back together. Where you can, try and put your bolts back in the hole they come out of. They're not going to interfere with anything. Otherwise, yeah, just get some Ziploc bags and a Nico, and just write on the bag where they come from, what they are. It just makes life easier. You don't lose anything. When you're putting it back together, they go back together, and I just throw them all in the back of the car neatly. Yeah, just a bit of a tip. Write on things, you know, plugs, like when I unplugged the spotty cable, I wrote on the plug down here, you know, my shit handwriting, but S for spotty. It looks like a 5 or a Z, but anywho. Yeah, mark things, makes your life a lot easier. And I sort of try to clean things as I go. So as I pull this off, I'll probably clean this, put it in the back of the ute, ready to go back together. But yeah, all right, thought I'd mention that. Yeah, YouTube, I just thought I'd show you how to get the side indicators off. You need to take the side indicator off to get this cable back through this hole. All you got to do is have a look at the indicator, and when you push on it in each direction, one way will actually have some spring in it, like that. Mine is back towards the car, which means the tab is springing on this end. Yeah, so you got to push back and then pull that end out. Mine, the spring clip on the back is here, so you can see it's got this like this clip that can push in. The other end isn't, so I have that facing back towards the car. Obviously, then to rid of the bug, pull the light off. You just push that tab in at the back here and then pull the plug off. Yeah, that'll allow you to disconnect that. That plug can go back inside, and then around the back here we can just pull him up and out. Yeah, so I'm just going to take this rear plate out now. I can pull them wires back through. I did the same to the indicator on the driver's side. Yeah, that's it there. I'm going to go around the engine, pulling off all of the coolant lines. I actually broke one. It really annoyed me. This guy here broke when I went to pull the clip back. I think that's the thermostat housing, I believe. I'll have to have a look. I think it's the thermostat housing. I might be wrong, but I'm gonna, yeah, I'll have to get a new one of those, or second-hand one. But anyway, it happens. Yeah, I'm gonna go around and take all the heater core hoses off now. These guys off, this one off. I've drained the coolant already. I think I said that. And yeah, I'm gonna strip all of the hoses off as much as I can at the top. It comes off here, comes around the alternator. You undo this clip at the top, pops out. There's another little bracket there that clips onto another hose. A couple more there that clip onto there, so they go like that. It's for my benefit more than anyone's. That guy can come out. Take this guy out. comes off here at the alternator, little clip. Off the back of the motor there. Onto the front of this turbo inlet pipe. Clip on that alternator right there. We'll just use our trim removal tool to get that out. And out that guy comes. I'm actually going to leave that clamp tightened up on that. No need to pull it off if it doesn't need to come off. Alright, seems to be a fitting down there. You can just see that heads off to the radiator. That'll be the next one I take out, which was from the bottom of this coolant reservoir. So I'll get it out next. Actually, scratch that. I've decided that one can stay. We've just got to, it can stay on the bottle because it's only clipped here. And where it heads off, there's a joiner down here under the power steering reservoir, but then it heads off down to the bottom of the radiator on the left side. So that's really the only hose you have to disconnect, is that one down there. Yeah, that was fun. All right, I might jump underneath the bottom of that radiator and unclip that one now down the very bottom. And just see down there, that guy there. Yeah, so both of them bottom radiator hoses are now undone. Take the top hose off, so that's disconnected. One around here, another bit that I broke before. Wriggle. There we go, he's off. He's got a little clamp there, or a little clip. Pop that off. While I'm over here, I'm going to do the airflow sensor. That's off. Fuel injection pipe or return line, it'll have to come out there. This guy here. Get that off. I think I might concentrate on removing this low pressure side line for the aircon, if it'll come out without breaking, or high pressure side, whatever it is. I just had to use a pair of pointy nose pliers to push these clips in to bend this back just a little bit, just so it clears the radiator. 2 bolts here, there's one here, 10mm from the looks, and one on the other side. We'll grab them next. Yeah, righto guys, decided to pull the front grille out. It's just too much of a pain in the ass, just give me a bit more room. There's 2 little scriv nuts here. You pop them up and out, and this guy will come out each side, one over there and one there. There's 2 brackets down there for the grill. I'm going to take them 2 10mm bolts out because they're sort of clipped in the bottom and I don't want to break it, so I'm going to take them out. Yeah, so I just end up loosening those bolts for that grill like that, both sides, and then I just flip the grill out of the way. It gives me heaps more room to the front. Might make life a little bit easier. Yeah, so I ripped the battery tray out. The battery lifts out, the tray just pulls out. I'm going to disconnect these 2 terminals. There's a whole bunch of red wire there going off to the fuse box, and another one heading off down probably to the starter, I'd say. Disconnect those. Then I'm going to take the fuel filter assembly out, both of them, get rid of all of that, and then continue to tackle this radiator. I'm struggling to get it past the condenser, so I'm just going to have a bit more of a look around there. Yeah guys, it was a bit of a mission, but what had to happen was the condenser had to come forward all the way over to the this pillar here in the middle, and then you hold the pipes, condenser pipes, out of the way, and then the radiator will come out. Then your condenser first, then your radiator, then obviously the shroud should be able to come out like so. So we've got a bit more room in there now. I'll probably pull the fan off while I'm here, have a bit of a clean up. I've got shit everywhere, and yeah, I'll come back to you. I've got all those coolant hoses and things unplugged, heater core hoses, batteries out. I'm going to tackle the fuel filter and the auxiliary fuel filter next. Righto. Yeah, so this marked for my benefit. Heater hose was under there, over to the left side of the heater core. It goes down to the thermostat housing at the very back. Clips into here. and these harness just pulled up. It wasn't really held down by anything, so that one's out. There you guys, so I managed to get the diesel filter out, disconnected all the lines. I got the bracket, there's a bracket that goes over the top of the ECU here. This guy down here. There's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8mm nuts that hold the bottom of this bracket here in. It sits over the top of the ECU like that. Takes a bit of wriggling and jiggling to get it out. It also supports the side of that fuel filter housing. So 2 of your nuts go there through those two guys there. Yeah, so next step is I think I'm going to loosen that ECU. I don't really want to unplug it just yet. Bring it up a bit, and then I can get those 2 10mm bolts way down there, one over there and one sort of in the middle of all that junk, to take this filter housing stand out. And then I'm going to take this guy off and we're getting somewhere. Yeah, so ECU tray, all of the diesel filter brackets out. I'm just going to take note that this main engine cut harness from the ECU comes in underneath this negative cable for the battery. When I put it back together, make life a bit easier. A couple more. Yeah, plug down here's got to come out, and the glow plug, relay plug has got to come out. We'll get those out and we're good to go. I'm going to pull this fan off. They're 13mm, it's a bit hard to see, but down the back there's 13mm 4 of, I'm going to say bolts or nuts come off of the oil driven hub. This fan and hub look brand new. Maybe they've had issues at some stage. And pull this intercooler hose off here on the hot side of the intercooler. Probably take it off at the bottom as well so it's out of the way. Just got to disconnect this wire for my benefit because it's making it hard to get the ECU out. Oh, there we go, that must be the trigger wire for that relay. Maybe. Yes, it is. Yeah, so I just pushed one of them blue fuel lines just up here out of the way. That comes with the engine when we pull it out. These 2 red ones I've zip tied back out of the way. They head off down to the fuel lines to the fuel tank, supply and return lines. I've got to undo this, and it's been degassed. So a mate of mine did that, which was awesome. So got to undo this guy here, and then this stays with the engine, and this one just can be zip tied out of the way over here. Then we're on to, I've removed there's a couple little trim clips. I just got to take one more off here, and the other couple for this harness I just unclipped, and that's the main engine harness there, all pulled out. What else? Fuse box can stay there out the way. Yeah, I think that side, apart from engine mount, and these 2 bolts here apparently have got to be undone according to the manual. There's one here and one here, so I'll take them out now and we'll go from there. Alright. Yeah guys, I just worked out with that bloody fan hub. What I'm going to have to do is make up a tool to hold the hub from turning as I try to undo it. You need either a big shifter or a 36mm open end ringy to grab the nut on the back there. I shouldn't have undone the fan first, but that's okay. I've got a 36mm ringy, no issue, but in the front of the pulley you'll see in there's those holes. You can see one there and one around there. There's 4 holes in it all the way around. They're 70mm apart, centers of the holes. So I'm just going to make a bit of a holder. So out of a bit of flat bar, I'm just going to make I've punched a couple of holes in already, so they're 70mm apart. I'm going to smack couple of, at least, I think these are 8mm bolts, something like that. Put them through, so I end up sticking up like that with enough thread sticking through. Yeah, enough thread sticking through to bloody go into that pulley, and yeah, use this. I might just cut this bit of dirty old flat bar off, clean it up a bit, make the handle about, you know, whatever that is, say that long, 400, 450, 400. Yeah, just to, hold it. And then I might even, on the other end, I'm going to make probably another tool that I can turn the crank with. I'm a bit of a miserable prick. I don't want to pay the money. It's $110 for the crank turning tool. But all it is like a piece of round bar with 3 holes drilled in it. So I'm just going to weld that to the end here on this end and make a turning tool, and I'll have it facing the other way, so I can use one end as a crank turner and this end to hold that sprocket. Yeah, just to try and save a little bit of money. But anyway, I'll see how that works out. Yeah guys, just thought I'd show you the tool I ended up making, but I had just put a little V in it. Essentially I just double nutted the back to make the studs or the bolts stick through a little bit shorter. Left that very end one on the end there a little bit, just a bit over finger tight, just nipped up with the shifter, so that when you put it in, it sort of can slide to line up the bolts a bit better, because you're never going to drill the holes exactly the right 70mm apart unless you're better than me with a hand drill. But yeah, she just drops in there like that, and that allows you to hold that sprocket or turn it or do what you like with it. So yeah, happy days. And then use the other one to undo the nut, 36mm, and it undoes left-hand thread just like a normal thread. So standing at the front of the car, it turns anti-clockwise. But yeah, it comes straight off. Pretty simple, it wasn't that tight. But yeah, it saved me a few dollars on the dirty old tool I made. But yeah, works good. Like I said, the other end I just taped a bit of rag on so it's softer on my hand. Yeah, I bolted the fan back to the hub too, guys. Saves, yeah, it actually gets in your way. The fan drops off all the time when you try and undo it, so you just do that nut up like normal, and with that holder we made, and she's good as gold. Just a shout out to ABD Automotive on YouTube too for the tip on, I was looking up trying to work out which way it had to undo it. I was worried it was, you know, left hand or right hand thread, but yeah, he's got a really good video and great YouTube channel on these PX Rangers, so thanks very much for that, mate. Cheers. Oh dear. Yeah, I worked out these are just breather lines for your obviously your transfer case, your diffs. I'm pretty confident that's what they are. They're open on the end, so that bracket definitely does have to come back. I'm going to undo this guy. The compressor, that's your one of your compressor lines. It's on the compressor on the car, so that's definitely coming off. This is coming out. I'll cover them up with Ziploc bags and tape. And then I think I pulled the brake booster hose out over here last night, popped this guy out. So he comes out, he can just sit out of the way like so. I'll probably pull the turbo cover off. There's a couple of bolts. One there, and there's probably a couple underneath. And then I might tackle power steering lines. So there's power steering lines from the bottom. I'll get them off, which come from this reservoir here, but down, I'm trying to zoom in and out, hang on. Yeah, I just pretty much follow this hose down. There's a clamp just there, you can sort of see at the end of my finger, and I'll have to find where the other one, there's a clip just here, it's got to be undone, and there's another one heads off down to the pump, I'd say, which is just down there, this guy here. Yeah, and then I think I'm on the underside then. I've got engine mounts each side, and there's 3 covers on the transmission. We'll show you them when we get to them. They've got to come off. There's the flex plate. There's about 6 nuts on the flex plate in the book that says it's got to come out. So we're gonna do that. And you have to rotate the engine about 60. Once you find the first nut to undo, you rotate the engine 60 degrees and it brings the next nut around. You've got to undo all 6. And that disconnects the flex plate off the torque converter and off the what we call the crankshaft or flywheel, but the flywheel crankshaft is all sort of one piece, I believe, on these. And then I think I'm just going to have to go over it and make sure, take all the bell housing bolts out. I'm going to leave 2 in. I've then got to support the transmission with a jack and a bit of timber. remove the bonnet. So that's probably, I'm leaving that to the very last. And then I'm going to push this car back. If you see on my shed here, I don't have an engine crane, so it's going to be a bit of a Brumby setup. But up there, the engine weighs 200 kilos, and I have lifted an outboard, 150 horsepower outboard off that, no worries at all. And it was definitely 200 kilos. So we're going to use a shackle through that plate, come down with a chain in the middle about here, and then use the two lifting points, one here and one on the other corner around the back, with a little baby come along at the front. Take the weight with the chain block, get it up forward by moving the car back a little bit. I'll have to probably support the transmission. It should roll back with the transmission jack, hopefully. And then once the engine's forward, I can then just start coming up and out, and I'll only move it a few inches at a time because I'm not 100% confident I've got everything unhooked properly yet. There's a bit more work to go, but I'll get all of that done today, and I'll come back to the point where I'm probably under the car and doing the transmission for you, and we'll go from there. All right, it's just too hard to film this with me holding a camera. I don't have anyone to film for me today. Kids aren't really interested anymore. And I'm going to buy a GoPro, I promise you that, to set it up on a bit of a tripod so you can still look what I'm doing as I'm working, and then that'll happen when I probably put the car engine back in, but I'll definitely have a better setup for when I strip the engine for you, so you'll get a bit better of an understanding. Anyway, thought that'd be for now. The whole engine harness, by the way, comes with this motor. Once you've undone that ECU off, the plugs off on that ECU, I actually took mine completely out. I left a couple of cables here, of course, but that's the whole engine harness there. And I don't believe there's any other wiring that is connected to this engine. There might be a couple of hoses down the back I'm a bit nervous about, but I'm going to go and study the manual up. I'm going to go through my video, make sure everything that I've undone is what they said to undo. I'm pretty sure it is. I've actually probably gone a little bit more than you need to, but yeah. I think after that, I'm going to, once the engine's out, just as a matter of interest, I'm going to cover all the plugs up and soap up this engine bay and give it a good scrub and a gurney out. It's with the hot pressure cleaner. It is pretty disgusting in there. It's been parked up for a long time, just needs a good clean. It'll look nice when it all goes back in. Oh, lovely spot under here. So I just took these two little, I think they're 11mm bolts out of this bracket here, just right there. That bracket has to come off because one of the bell housing bolts comes through here and in behind there. So there's a bracket, a few 10-11mm bolts here got to come out. I took the dump pipe out. Obviously it has to come off the back of the turbo anyway, so I undone it from up there. And then obviously the dump pipe ends here, it goes into the exhaust. There's a little hanger. Mine's got a Roo Systems exhaust on it, so I'm not sure if this bracket is standard. It looks standard. I'd say they've just customised this exhaust to fit. They've done a bit of a rough job on the back of where the turbo up here, that you can just see it up there. I'll try and zoom in. Let's go. Yeah, see that hole there in that tin heat shield? That's meant to go in, and then the exhaust clamps, the bolt goes through then into the exhaust. They'd actually bent that out of the way, put the bolt in because there must have been too much trouble to hook it up. So yeah, I have to remember that when it goes back in, to put the bolt through that heat shield. So yeah, I'm just going to continue on. Got that condenser pipe off the firewall undone we were talking about. I'm just going to keep going around, probably leave maybe 2 bolts. Might even be easier to leave this guy, or yeah, in the bell housing on each side. And I'm just going to go around undoing engine mounts and whatnot, and if there's anything, there's an engine mount there, obviously has got to be undone. This guy here, be that big bolt, I'm assuming, up there. I might even undo both sides of it. Yeah, there's a bolt through this frame in here, big guy, 17mm, 19mm, something like that. And yeah, we're just going to keep going around. Yeah, so just for my benefit, this red positive cable had a clip going into this little bracket here, this white one on the body. And further down, there's another clip down there, right there, that's got to come off, and then it goes to the starter motor, which looks like fun getting out. So it'd come around this end, went into this ground point here, right, where is it, there, so ground point went there, trying to work out where the trim clip was. There it was. There. So right there where it's pointing there, you can just see it down where my finger is. Yep, that's where that guy went in on the ground cable. There might be another one down further too by the looks. Down in there, right down in there, there'll be another one. Alright. Yeah, so there was a rubber cover that went through here. I just popped that off to get to these injector retaining brackets. I've just used it, it's an 8mm flange bolts. I just rattled all them out. I'm going to take those out. Got half the bell housing bolts out now. Going to get the injectors out, then call it a day. Rattle.